YouTube Ozic going. The Goat House is back with my green hoodie that is getting picked up by the green screen. Here with my locks, my best bets of the week. We'll even have some Thursday Night Football options for a potential parlay, things like that. So we got you guys covered with this video every Thursday. We have picks against spread for every single game. That is the most recent video. It's a score predictions video, but I'm fire with those picks against spread. So check it out. Yeah, you guys know the drill. Let's go to my spread lock. This is tricky because I really want to go with the Jags at +1 as my spread lock. But if Trevor Lawrence plays, let's slide that up. Let's bump that up. I would like for him to practice. I actually think I'm not an injury expert, but man, the hoodie's really getting going on this screen. But must have something to do with its green and it's a white background. Anyways, Trevor Lawrence hasn't practiced. I feel like he's going to play. We didn't think he was going to play with that ankle situation that 1 week he played. He hasn't practiced yet, though. I wish he would get a practice in. I think it's a bad matchup for the Bucs. I think the Jags, if Trevor Lawrence plays, they can throw all over them. I like them to win that game. I'll go with the Rams back-to-back weeks. Had them last week -6.5 as a lock. Wish it was 3. But I do think they'll win by 7. I think they have potential to beat them up pretty good too. I think the Saints will have tough time stopping Kyren Williams, and that could open up the passing game. I just don't think the Saints can score enough either. So I like the Rams to cover. It's a tricky week though. The Jags if Lawrence plays, the Browns if C.J. Stroud does not play. It sounds like that's the case. 2.5's looking pretty good. They should win by at least a field goal. I like the Broncos beating the Patriots, and they'll get a bunch of turnovers and create for their offense, the defense that is, -6.5. So those are my spread picks of the week. We got alternate spreads. This is more for a parlay, some parlay options if you want to pair these with something else or together. The Bills should cover the 6 versus the Chargers by quite. They should cover by quite a bit. Eagles -3. I got a feeling they're going to beat up the Giants, but the Eagles have been a little sus lately. Giants been playing better, but you should definitely cover that 3. The Broncos, I can drop that 6.5 down to 1. Feel pretty good about it. The Browns, you want to flip that, make them +3 in Seattle. Almost had Seattle as one of my spread picks, but Tannehill playing, it could be a little, it could be a trap game for Seattle. I doubt it. I got them winning by 7, but there is a factor in there that makes it a little sketchy, but they would definitely cover the 3 points, a +3 points there. So those would be some alternate options there for you. If you're putting together a parlay this weekend. Straight up, I'm going to go with the Bills against the Chargers. I would assume that everyone has that. I like the Eagles to beat up the Giants as well. The Broncos should beat the Patriots at home Christmas Eve night. Broncos win when they create turnovers. They will create turnovers in that game. And then we'll take the Chiefs over the Raiders. The Raiders are tough. That game could be closer than you think, but I fully expect the Chiefs to win at home on Christmas in that game. So those are my 4 straight up locks, picks, and with the lock at the top. Next, upset is a little tricky too because I need Trevor Lawrence to play. If Lawrence plays, I really like the Jags. I think they'll throw all over the Bucs because that Bucs defense is sketchy, to say the least. And the Jags can kind of get off that cold streak, kick into playoff mode. I need Trevor Lawrence to play, though. And then I go with the Cowboys as well. Tricky because the Dolphins feast off man coverage. The Cowboys run, but Dolphins have yet to beat a good team. You beat the Cowboys by just pounding the football. It's weird because the Dolphins could run the ball, but they're usually more pass to open up the run. They insist on passing. I think the Cowboys offense could have a solid day as well. So I like those underdogs to win, but neither team in those games actually have positive odds on the money line, which I think should be illegal. I think that should be highly illegal. I think one team has to have plus odds. So that's something I really hate about sports books. But those are my technically underdogs that I like this week. And the upset locks have been, we're 10-3 on when we're forced to pick upsets. I don't know if anybody can do any better than that. Maybe we had some luck along the way, but doing something right there, being forced to pick some upsets and winning 10 out of 13 that we've picked. Next, over-under, some good ones this week. The Browns-Texans, if C.J. Stroud doesn't play, which it sure sounds like, man, my hoodie's driving me nuts right now. It's crazy on the screen, but I apologize for that if that's messing with your eyes. Should have thought that through. I saw myself on the original screen, and I was like, that's not bad. We're good. It kind of just looks green. I didn't check myself out on this screen. Mistakes were made. But if Stroud's out, which he's supposed to be, I just don't. And the Texans got a solid defense. The Browns don't play as good away. I don't see how that gets over 40. 40 just seems like it's too high. I'm confused about that. Washington and the Jets, Commanders versus the Jets. 37 is low, but the Jets defense is good. The one good thing in that game is the Jets defense. So I don't expect the Commanders to do much on offense. You can score on the Commanders defense, but the Jets offense is pretty brutal no matter who they have at quarterback. So I don't see how that goes over 37. And then over this, I need Trevor Lawrence to play. Honestly, this could shoot up to my lock. It's pretty even. I'd probably keep Browns-Texans. I can't believe it's at 40. But if Trevor Lawrence plays, I really like Jacksonville and Tampa. I had Green Bay, Tampa as an over last week. I was surprised how low that was, and same with this one. If Lawrence plays, he's gonna throw all over the Buccaneers defense. He's going to do it. Like, they're gonna score points. And I think even ETN could have a solid game. And then Jags defense, I think the Bucs, Baker's playing well. He's throwing the ball well, and then they can throw on them. So that should go over. I had a 26-23 final, and the more I'm talking about, the more I think if Trevor Lawrence plays, the Jags can score more. Colts-Falcons will go under 44.5. It might be close to that, but it should be under. Falcons defense can play. They can play. The Colts shouldn't. They're solid, better than expected, but they shouldn't go crazy offensively. And the Falcons offense, like, how much can you trust them? I don't think they're going to go crazy offensively either. I think like the highest score 23-20, and that's even under, or even 23-21 would be under by half a point. I think that's like the maximum. I had a 20-19 final, and with certain guys being out, that could actually drop for me. So over-unders have been better recently than earlier in the year. So best bets, again, I love Jacksonville. If Lawrence is playing, that line is going to change, though. Those odds are going to change, so that's a tricky part. It would probably be number one. We'll go with the Rams -4. DraftKings is like you can actually get a odds boost on if you bet Rams -4. You actually can get positive odds. I think that's DraftKings only. That scares me. Usually, like, they know something, but I don't want to change my thought off of that, but sometimes I do. But I do think the Rams have potential to beat the Saints up pretty good in this game. I think they're going to win by 7. If not 7, I would actually guess like 10. So maybe 6. So it's a little tricky at 4. Maybe if you're putting a parlay together, you go money line or you bump that down to an alternate line of 3. Jacksonville money line if Lawrence plays. Broncos money line, that should be a very safe pick. The Browns money line, same thing. Then some alternate spreads. Yeah, again, a lot of those if you're putting together a parlay. But the top 2 really not. Like, those are good picks. Like, sure, you get better odds with Jacksonville money line than the -1. But I know no one's going to want to bet on that until they know if Trevor Lawrence is playing. So that's the tricky part there with the best bets. And I already tweeted out my favorite Thursday Night Football options. So the first group of options is alternate lines plus an anytime touchdown plus money line. So those are parlay options. You're not going to bet any of those things by itself. I mean, you could. You're not really going to win jack shit, though. So you want to parlay 2 or 3. I'd be a little cautious with doing all 4 together, but I do think all 4 hit, and they've been pretty good on these. It's a little tricky, though. Kyron Williams, I think his over-under is like 90, 91, 92, somewhere around there. It's a little tricky because randomly McVay just gets in that mode where he just insists on passing. Lately, he's understood, like, all right, this guy's legit. We can win with the run. But yeah, 72.5 if you're throwing in a parlay is pretty damn good. Alvin Kamara should hit over that 22.5. He could go 25 plus. But sometimes I look on DraftKings. Sometimes with those alternate lines, you get the alternate lines where it's like 25 plus, 50 or 40 plus, 50 plus, 75 plus. And if you scroll down on DraftKings app, there's like random like 22.5, like random numbers like that, and they're actually better odds. It's weird. So that 22.5 actually might be better odds or the same as the 25 plus. So take a look at that. The next option was like 28.5, somewhere around there. That should be pretty good too. But if we're parlaying, I like those. Kyron Williams should score. The odds are not great, but if you're putting in a parlay, it's a pretty solid option. And then Rams money line. I do like the Rams -4 a lot, but again, I like that by itself. If you're doing a parlay, you need multiple things to hit. Rams money line. And then some props that stood out. Chris Olave is coming. He's coming back, and he should get over 4.5 receptions. I expect him to get 5, 6, or 7 catches. There's a shot he gets 4. I don't see a scenario where he gets 3. So if we lose this, we're gonna lose it right on 4. But I think he's gonna get 5 or 6, maybe 7. I think 4. I think most likely it's 5 or 6, and then 7. I think 7 is more likely than 4 in my opinion catches. So. And Kyron Williams over 18.5 rushing attempts. I've seen this bounce back and forth between 18.5 and 19.5. Man, the rush attempts been sketchy this year. Like you see them and you think they're sure thing based on how many carries they've been getting and then who they're playing. Like teams gonna have to run the ball. And the Saints are pretty solid, pretty damn solid stopping the pass. And it seems like Rams receivers are really good against zone. Saints play man. The Saints struggle stopping the run. All signs point towards Kyron Williams being the guy. He's also been getting 27 carries, 25, 22, or 21, whatever, and been lighting it up. All signs point towards Kyron Williams getting a load of carries and being the guy in this game. So Vegas seems to know something. These have been a little sketchy this year, like where they make no sense and you lose by 1 or 2 carries, and it's like, and some weird things happen. Those been sketchy this year. I don't know. So I'd be careful with that. But I'm just telling you, with my knowledge and my research, I don't see how he doesn't get over that. But it's a little scary at the same time, just based on. I'm betting Najee Harris over rushing attempts last week. James Cook against the Chiefs was ridiculous. He needed 2 carries, and the Bills are pounding the football when he needs 2 carries. But everybody but James Cook, and then they're in position to run get a field goal, run the clock, and they're throwing the ball. They're throwing screen passes. It was odd. It should have been a sure thing. So there was another one earlier that just did not make sense to me. But. Yeah, so I guess be a little careful with the rush attempts, but based on what the research knowledge, who they're playing, the X's and O's here on the field, what's going to happen? He should be over that, but it's probably my least favorite. I like it; it's on here, but it's probably my least favorite out of the bunch, out of the list here. So went for a sweep the last time. That was the Monday night game, Seattle versus Philadelphia. We had 4 options, and they were all correct. So. Hopefully, some more magic this week, this game against the Saints, between the Saints and the Rams. So that's going to wrap it up for my locks video this week. Let me know your guys' thoughts, what you're going with. Always talking with you guys on Twitter as well. It's going to do it, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.